Ah, yes. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Raiders. And I am so excited to talk about the Steelers. They have just been a pillar of consistency, but they've been very consistently inconsistent. And you know what? Oh my gosh. As this is like on par with being a Steelers fan. This is what happens. I get excited, I get annoyed, I get all of the things, but you know what? That is my team. I love them for better or for worse. And the one thing I will say is every year I get so excited for football season to start. I'm like, football season's here, football season's here. And then I remember very quickly just how frustrating my team can be at different times. And that is just fantastic. And you know what? At this point, you would think I would be used to it. But I just don't understand basic fundamental things of why we can't get things figured out. So it just kind of is what it is. So I am going to make this video. I'm going to give my thoughts about us playing the Raiders, and I'm going to give my thoughts and feelings about how I feel like we can win this game and some things that I'm going to be paying attention to. And so just like every week, let's just get into this video. I will say, I think it's kind of cool that back-to-back weeks, we're playing historic franchises. So last week we'll play the Cowboys, whatever. And then this week we'll play the Raiders. I feel like the Raiders are another like historic franchise. I can almost clearly remember probably the last 4 or 5 times that we've played the Raiders. I can remember a time where the Steelers played the Raiders, and I believe like Jamarcus Russell was the quarterback. So you know what, there a lot of these games, just similar to Dallas, similar to when we play the Raiders, it's so hard to figure out what's going to happen because I feel like, first of all, the Steelers team, I don't know what we're doing, but I also feel like these games are always the games that kind of like get weird and things happen that you're not expecting to happen, or things happen that are like etched in your memory because they're the thing that happened that you're like, well, how and why did that happen? But anyways, let me just get into the 3 things I'm going to be focused on and thinking about as I watch my Steelers take on the Raiders this week. So the first thing I'm going to be paying attention to is that offense, right? Is the offense. What the hell is this offense? What the hell is this offense? What the hell is this offense? Are we going to have it figured out? Are we going to allow Justin Fields to throw the ball down the field? What are we going to do with this offense? I hate this offense. I'm on record as saying I hate this offense. I don't know what's happening with this offense, but I want them to allow Justin Fields to see what he can do at quarterback at this point. Because at this point, why shield him? Let him go out there. See, you have to be able to see what he can do. I understood bringing him along at the beginning, but we are now in what? Game 6? So now it is time to allow Justin Fields to play quarterback. If he's going to be your quarterback, allow him to be the quarterback. Allow him to audible at the line of scrimmage. Allow him to throw the ball down the field. Allow him the chance to run this offense. Open up the playbook. Let's see what we have in Justin Fields. Why not? If this week isn't the time to see what we have in Justin Fields, I don't know what week it's going to be. So the first thing I'm going to be looking at is, are we going to open this playbook for Justin Fields? The second thing I'm going to be paying attention to is this offense. I'm going to be paying attention to the receivers. What is going on with the receivers? What is going on with George Pickens? What is his problem? I have no clue what his problem is. I have no clue what's going on. George Pickens should never not play a ton of snaps. I don't care. Like, he needs to get it together. And so the second thing I'm going to be looking for is George Pickens, how he comes out in this game. He's been called up by his coach. He's been called out by the media. He has seen what people have to say about him. So it is time for George Pickens to show up, and it is time for him to do what he is supposed to do. I need him to lock in and get focused. So I'm going to be focused on George Pickens. And I'm also going to be focused on these other receivers because I am sick and tired of seeing the receivers, including tight ends. I am sick and tired of seeing them drop balls. That sounds kind of crazy, but they have to catch the ball. That is their job. So I am going to be paying attention to these receivers because I can't say allow Justin Fields to throw the ball down the field and do the certain things, and then he's throwing it to a bunch of receivers that either can't get open, are lazy on their routes, or they're not catching the ball. So my second thing here is going to be offense. So my first thing is going to be offense, specifically Justin Fields and the offense as a whole. The second thing for me is going to be offense, and it's going to be the receivers. What are these receivers doing? Are they working to get open? open. I've heard, based off film study and people going back and watching the games a few times over, that our receivers are actually getting open. But I think the problem is when you're limiting a quarterback, and in his mind, he knows you're limiting what he can do. How does he then go out there and take these large risks when he also knows that you're limiting him? And you know what I mean? So like, there's this weird balance that is going on right now with the Steelers that is terrible, that needs to be fixed. And like I said in my video, and the things I'm looking forward to, or the things I'm keeping an eye on, I blame Mike Tomlin. It is Mike Tomlin's job to step in and say, okay, let's get this thing going. Let's figure this out. Let's move this along. Let's make this thing work. This is an offensive league. We have to score more than 17 points in a game. This is getting ridiculous. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this offense does. The third thing I'll say here is our defense. Now, I am one of those people, we still have a top 10 defense. And so a lot of people will come out and say, did you see them play against Dallas? Did you see? I saw all of it. And if you still go look statistically, based on everything, once everything is calculated, the Steelers defense is still a top 10 defense in the NFL. Imagine if their offense could score points. Imagine if the Steelers offense could score points. That defense is top 10, even after what you saw in Dallas. So my point in saying this is, if the offense would step up and do their damn job, it would help this defense. And so I'm going to be looking at this defense this week, and I'm going to be focused on the linebacker position because of injuries. If you're a Steelers fan, you're aware of this. There was a lot of injuries on that Sunday night football game. There's a lot of things happening there. And so I'm very interested to see how the injuries look as we head into playing the Raiders. Do I think that the Raiders offense is really going to show me how our linebackers look? Well, no, because the Raiders offense looks whatever. But the one thing I know is the Raiders have Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers is going to work those linebackers. And so I'm very curious to see what this linebacker group looks like and how we perform, because it's going to be really interesting to see what this looks like. So the three things I'm going to be focused on are offense, total offense, everybody in offense, and if we let Justin Fields do what he needs to do. The second thing I'm going to be looking at is our offense and our receivers and tight ends to see if they get opened and to see what they do. And then the third thing is going to be our linebackers. That is our hardest hit position right now. And so I'm very fascinated to see how our linebackers play this week and how they basically line up against Brock Bowers, because I think that's going to matter. I think that's going to be the ball game. If the Steelers offense can't move the ball down the field, and if the Steelers defense can't do what they need to do against Brock Bowers, I think we're going to be in trouble. And so those are the things I'm going to be looking for in this game. So when it comes to predicting this game, I'm going to be honest with you. Call me a liar. I know I said in the video I'm not going to take the Steelers until they figure this out. And listen, I was upset. I was bitter. I was in my feelings. They triggered me, okay? They made me feel a way. And I just, in good faith, could not sit here and not take the Steelers. Not because I'm a Steelers homer, but I just think the Steelers are actually better than the Raiders. The Steelers better beat the Raiders. If the Steelers don't beat the Raiders, listen, Davante Adams doesn't even want to be a Raider anymore. Their stud doesn't even want to be on this team anymore. How can we go in there and let them beat us? And dare I say, we're in the Davante Adams sweepstakes. What better way to show Davante Adams what he could do for the Steelers team and the Steelers offense than him seeing the Steelers offense up close and personal, and him seeing how he could fit into this offense. So I am going to take the Steelers. I might regret this after the game, but I'm going to take my team. I'm writing for my team, and we'll just keep it. We'll just leave it where it's at, and we'll just hope to God the Steelers can figure out a way to do this, because it seems like every week I'm like, please God. So that is just where I'm at. I'm picking the Steelers to win. This is the Davante Adams game where I'm hoping that Davante Adams sees what he can do in the Steelers offense, and he sees that Justin Fields is going to be allowed to throw the ball down the field, and he sees how well he can pair with George Pickens on one end and then George Pickens on one side and then him on the other side, and then we have all these great things happening. And let me dream. Don't be in my comments taking away my dreams, but seriously, I'm going to end this video here picking the Steelers. Offense, 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 offense. I hope they figure something out because I'm sick and tired of seeing this crap. But at the end of the day, who knows what's going to happen? It's the NFL and it is the game I love. So I will just sit back and watch. But my Steelers better take care of frickin' business. But as I end every Steelers video, here we go.